Hello, fabulous Aquarius. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2015, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, in the context of love, it really is all about that full moon that's happening in the later part of the month. This full moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that is decidedly romantic, has to do with matters of heart, and really of matters of what you desire. What is it that ultimately makes you feel most alive? And if anything makes a person feel alive, it is those butterflies in the stomach. It is that attraction. It is that, especially in the beginning, whether it's flirting or getting to know someone, it is that desire that really has a way of awakening a person. And that is exactly what is being lit up, if you will, in your sky. So for those of you who are open to meeting somebody new or just getting to know someone, this energy will speak that much more powerfully to you. And what's interesting about this particular full moon is that it is activating a conversation that is taking place that is beginning to reach a precise moment between Saturn and Neptune. So this particular conversation between Saturn and Neptune suggests for us something about looking at reality versus fantasy, okay? So I will have a separate video that explores that in a lot more detail, and of course I'll be talking about it a lot in the weekly horoscopes in the weeks to come. However, for now, I do want to say that for you in particular, you have to be mindful of this, particularly where it comes to matters of heart, where it comes to matters of love as well. Because it does look like the likelihood of creating an illusion, unconsciously or consciously, on your behalf or the other person's behalf, is very possible now. And especially be mindful of someone who asks you for lots of money, who pulls heartstrings to, garner some financial gain. That is where you want to be careful. Now, that's a different thing than if you are with somebody in an established bond and you work together in some way, you are part of each other's prosperity in some way. That's a different thing. We'll get to committed relationships in a moment. But I'm talking about if this is someone you've just met or you're just getting to know, you've just started dating, you're just starting connecting with, and they're asking you for what for you might be or sound like a large sum of money, or maybe even not. Consider how you're feeling. Consider what feels right to you. But it might also be you. It might also be you who's feeling like you want to give and share and enjoy and all will be well. But the thing is, they say you can't buy love. You can buy lots of things, but genuine affection for another person in any respect, right? Whether it's friendship or romance or otherwise. Genuine affection is something that partly has to do with the people who they innately are, but also has to do with what it is, what it is that you're open for. It has to do with being open to that genuine connection, and it's something that you feel or you don't. And a lot of that, whether you feel it or not, you could say is astrological, you could say is based on the different people. But for all that, ultimately, if a connection is there, it is going to be evident, and it doesn't require one person to give a lot more than the other necessarily would. So this is something you might want to watch as well. But overall, the real thing here, and with this particular full moon, is as romantic as it is, it's also very restricting. And it's very easy right about now to get caught up in a fantasy that is very disconnected from the reality, or to sort of overlook the obvious, or to choose not to ask a question that you don't want to know the answer to. There might very well be a part of you that is motivated by that, is feeling that. Now, it's natural, right? It can happen to anybody, but for you in particular, right around the later part of the month, strive to observe your own feelings, your own reactions, and at the very least, if you make your choices consciously, then you can be at peace with whatever it is that you decide is best for you in this moment of your life and in whatever moment you are in the courtship, whether you are just meeting somebody, you know, having fun, getting out there, enjoying yourself, or actually have somebody there that you are getting to know a little bit more and a little bit more at a time. For those of you in an established bond, I think that this energy is going to play out a little bit differently. And in an established bond, I think on the one hand, if you have children with this person, or if one person wants children, the other person doesn't, it seems that in some way having children is a part of this conversation. So in a committed bond, it may be one of those things that comes up. Maybe one person is changing their mind. Maybe before you agreed to something, now it's looking like something else. So all of this may be up for consideration, but also there might be some real need to find a common ground as to how it is that you're going to raise any child that you have, or co-parent whatever child that you have. So that is going to be an area of consideration. But outside of that, it does look like there's an element here of, you know, how much are we going to live it up? How much fun are we going to have? Where are we in, not only in our bond, but in our lives? Is our lifestyle and the way that we're living appropriate for where we should be? Like, you're exploring these questions together. And I do think, though, when I look at this sky, that there is the possibility of overdoing it and yet not feeling comfortable about it, or feeling guilty about it, feeling like, or at least one person feeling like they are the ones who need to provide a lot financially versus the other one. So there's going to be a real need for conversation and a real need for connection around this. Because remember, financially speaking, if you are in a committed bond, your spouse is right now at the beginning of a really great time financially. So they should be having all kinds of opportunities. They should be finding things getting better and things growing. And if they are not, that might be something that the two of you need to look at. Like, what is it that needs to change? And ultimately, it isn't about necessarily you deciding anything for your partner, but more about your partner and encouraging your partner to come to their own understandings, to come to their own answers as well. So that will be a part of the picture. Also, when we look at what is taking place this week in the sky and in a committed relationship, as I said, there's the real possibility now of overdoing it in some way, whether it's financially, whether it's through like the pursuit of joy and fun and leisurely activities. And you may tell yourself that it's for one thing, but it's actually for something else, meaning that you're telling yourself you're doing this for, you know, for solid reasons, for work reasons, for, you know, stability reasons, but really it's just an excuse to like let your inhibitions go. So there might be a little bit of that happening as well. All it really takes, and again, if you're in a committed bond and you are an Aquarian, you need to have somebody that you can talk to. All it really takes is being able to talk it out. There will be some interesting insights into each other right now, but nothing is really certain. And as I said, there might be stuff for both of you that you're not clear on for each other, of each other as well. And that's okay, right? Sometimes that happens, and slowly you will be exploring these themes and these issues as we move forward. Just right now with this full moon, yes, romance is high. The desire to be carried away is very high as well. So if you trust that that bond is strong and you know that you're okay sort of, you know, going off into fantasy land with this person and living it up, then by all means do so. But just know that you're doing so, and know that you might not have all the answers, but you might not be consciously seeking or wanting to know those answers just yet. And even if you did know those answers, they might not necessarily be correct, okay? So find your right balance with where you are. And if this is somebody that you love and somebody that you're with, know that whatever questions you have, whatever uncertainties you have, will find their answers in the right time. But there's just so much confusion right now, it might not be the best bet. You might as well just enjoy. What I love about this month for you is that your heart is very much on the sleeve. You're very aware of where you want to be loved and why you want to be loved as well. You're very aware of wanting to see the very best in the other person as well. And that is a beautiful thing. That is the best, I think. A part of being a human being is to want that, is to be open to that as well. So don't be hard on yourself if you are. And as I said, as long as you're making your decisions consciously, you, more than anybody, knows that as long as you're doing that, there really are no regrets.